Hello, Gemini. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Gemini, so looking at your first week of December, you pulled discipline, beauty, and masquerade. This is like, I'm tired of having these fleeting moments, and there is a need to have more depth in the experiences that you have. Beauty talks about how opening up to the beauty of your experience can create healing. But what's interesting here is that it's coming out of a need to create a program of change in your life. That's where discipline is coming through. And it's going to require you to be consistent in the changes that you're making. But masquerade, this again is like, I'm done with the fleeting moments, but it's also about not wanting to continue to play the game of seeking pleasure for pleasure's sake. So it says, what I can't have forever, I will have for a minute. What I can't have for a minute, I will hold to me for 1 second. This is like being done with situations that are fleeting, that don't create this kind of beauty and, depth of experience. And the changes that you're making within yourself are meant to heal what you've experienced from those fleeting moments, right? But needing to see the beauty in the experiences that you have had, I think, will help you in creating the kind of change that you're wanting to see. But it's all about not wanting to have these kind of fleeting moments anymore. And for some of you, it's, wanting to have some kind of consistency, possibly in relationships or just within your experiences in general. No more fleeting moments. We want something more long-lasting, right? You're overall the Four of Pentacles, so holding on tightly to something, not wanting to give. I have nothing to give. This is what little I have. I'm holding on to it. So we'll see how this one's playing out. In the past, the Seven of Cups. So we're looking at all the different possibilities right now, but being in this loop of like fantasy and things not exactly happening the way that you had fantasized about. Now, for some of you, this is, finally getting some clarity and making a choice where there may have been confusion before. But we're talking about, with the Seven of Cups, fantasizing how things could be, not actually realizing them. The other part, though, too, of that is, making the best choice for yourself and not being able to see that clearly. In the present, the Knight of Pentacles, so slow movement, right? So I think for some of you, it's slowly moving out of this kind of like, fantasizing about things and actually starting to see progress in a choice that you may be making. And this may be a choice that you didn't think was, a real possibility for you. And this is where, we're starting to walk that path. It's slow and, long term here, but this is for, important change to take place. But what's interesting here is the Four of Pentacles being the overall. I think that, if we're talking about dealing with another person here, this is really them not kind of, moving the situation forward. It's like they're not willing to budge, or they're not willing to move, or this could be about you, right? Like, I have a different direction. I'm not willing to give to something that isn't real anymore. A lot of times with the Seven of Cups, for me, it can indicate having to deal with future faking and being left with a fantasy of something that isn't really ever going to happen. And this may be where, you're looking at taking a different path, but it's slow. Okay, and future conditions with the Two of Pentacles here. Right, the balancing act, but for me, it's we're still playing with something, and there needs to be, this decision made now. on whether or not this is going to turn into anything real, right? So if you're playing with something or playing with the idea of something still and thinking that there's this possibility that it could be made real with the Four of Pentacles, I would say that that's, no, you're starting to realize that, there are some things that you can no longer give to a situation that you're not seeing any progress with, especially in the present moment, because we're still talking about something coming through that hasn't been realized and is based around fantasy, right? But in future conditions here, this may be where you finally make the decision to kind of like withhold the effort and time that you've been putting into something. But you, though, because of this, I think, are taking a very slow direction somewhere else. Okay. Your best path to follow, the Wheel of Fortune. This is like the universe telling you that, hey, there's going to be a change in this cycle. And there's an opportunity for, better things, more fortunate situations to happen. So be aware that this is part of a cycle that is happening. And if you continue to withhold your time and effort from things that are not real or don't have a real possibility of happening, then that is where the cycle will change. That's where you break the pattern. But this is like, hey, there's an opportunity for something more fortunate. So you need to be looking at areas in your life right now where you're giving to something that isn't being realized. If you're seeing that, now is the time to make the choice here to kind of withhold that time and effort until you start to see different progress. But I think that this is really, you need to withhold in order for the pattern to change. Yeah, Four of Wands in your environment, right? And this is what I'm talking about. For some of you, if you're not seeing progress in a situation, this is you taking a very slow path somewhere else that is creating a better foundation for you in something that's going to be worth celebrating, right? This is, we're happy. We're happy that something different is being built here. But this is all about a new foundation that, you're slowly working toward, but there's a part of you, and the reason why things are moving slowly, right, is because there's still a part of you that may be looking at something from the past and still thinking that it's something that can be realized. But, again, it's the Seven of Cups, so no, it's based in fantasy. And it's like, just hang on to what you have right now, because there's something different coming through for you and a new foundation that's kind of being built here. More stability, right? But also this happiness, your hopes and your fears, the Nine of Swords. So whatever fears or anxieties that you're having, the fear there would be that they kind of like take hold. And it's almost like, but if I walk away from this and a new cycle starts, am I going to have a repeat of things like not coming into reality? This is like fighting your own mental demons that are going on right now. And that could have to do with a lot of different things, right? Like it could be, self-esteem issues and emotional issues that may have come up from dealing with a situation that you, I think, really thought was going to go somewhere. But for whatever reason, it's not. And again, like, there's that future faking, right? Dealing with somebody that's like making all these promises and not living up to them. But don't allow your fears to block you from seeing, a more fortunate turn of events for you. But, it's not about dropping the ball. It's about letting it go, making the decision to let it go if it's not going to be realized, right? And then coming out the sun, beautiful, new life, new energy, and something being illuminated. You know, you have that clarity that kind of comes in with that. And the sun here, it may be that, you know, finally there's this like energy being returned to you where you're able to let this situation go. You know, no longer holding on to what is not possible, but no longer giving parts of yourself away that may have drained you before. Which is why we're looking at the sun coming out in future, or in the outcome, right? And with the Two of Pentacles in future conditions, again, it's like you're going to have to make that choice to let it go. The Seven of Wands. The Six of Wands, good. And then the Nine of Cups, perfect, perfect. So this new energy for you is bringing in this ability to be able to kind of like stand your ground in, you know, and with the sevens, right? No longer allowing, you know, these kind of like fake promises to knock you off of your position here with the sun. It's like, no, right? Like, I have the ability here to experience something completely different. And this is you standing up for yourself, right? And then with the Six of Wands, there's this victory over the situation, this recognition that is coming through, and there may be like this celebration of you, you know, finally slowly taking the steps to move away from what isn't being made realized. And with the Nine of Cups here, you know, you're moving into your wishes being fulfilled in a really big way. And it all comes from this choice to let go of and withhold from a person or a situation where there just isn't anything happening. But I love the fact that it's creating this new foundation for you with this Four of Wands, right? There's this happiness and joy that I think that you're going to start to experience. Guidance, truth, guidance to the truth, right? And this clarity with the sun coming out. And then gratitude. That is a beautiful feeling when you experience something so good and so profound that you're instantly moved into this like thanking the universe for, you know, bringing this experience in. So guidance bringing you to the truth and it leading you to this feeling of gratitude, which is going to continue to bring in, you know, these more beauty, more beauty in your life, more realistic situations, not these fleeting moments, right? Show the world the real you. And then emotions are running high. So needing to express the real version of yourself, not a version that is like being created by somebody else and like how they see their future with you. Now that's only going to be for some of you, but needing to express yourself, your true authentic self, and it being so intense, right? Like your emotions are so charged right now and like pushing you into a different life, a different experience, right? But one where your wishes are being fulfilled here. But again, it all comes down to this choice of letting go of something that is not going to be realized. This is where we break the pattern and the cycle, and more fortunate, more better, you know, things start to come through where there's better foundations being built.